This is Boxonic, and you're about to witness the fiery build-up to one of boxing's most explosive rematches, Gervonta Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach.
Three matches that you fought?
0.
What do you have to do to create enough separation where this don't happen again?
Whew, it's a good question. It's going to be based on my training camp. I have to push myself a little harder. If that didn't get me the win, and I have room. I definitely have room.
You know when they start talking, when the people who I fight, when they start talking, that's when y'all get dumb. I'ma beat his ass.
He can't do shit.
For real. I better be quiet.
You got any grease in your hair tonight, Tank? That is it. Lamont, please say that in the second fight. Any questions? You got any grease in your hair tonight, Tank? Like, you got any grease in your hair tonight, Tank? Like,
Tensions hit a boiling point when Gervonta Tank Davis crashed the press conference, delivering a fiery message to Lamont Roach, shouting, "I'm ending him right in front of all of you." Davis sent shockwaves through the crowd. The room crackled with intensity, fueled by unfinished business and deep-seated animosity. As the two fighters locked eyes, the cameras flashed and the audience held its breath. Davis wasn't there to chat. He came to make a statement. What erupted next was a verbal firefight, igniting the boxing scene and setting the stage for a rematch built on pride, bad blood, and a thirst for revenge.
Promoter Gary Jonas shed some light on the negotiations for the rematch. While he didn't give too many details, Jonas did say that the second bout between Davis and Roach Jr. is all but finalized. Let's hear what he got to say right now.
Important question on everyone's mind. How close is the rematch? How big will it be? How close is it to getting done?
Very close. It's in my mind, it's a done deal, but there are formalities, but it's a done deal and it's not far off.
What's good, guys? Red Corner Boxing here. So the Ring Magazine has today confirmed that Gervonta Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach Jr. 2 will take place on August the 16th in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's a great fight. We need to see it again. Who wins it and how, lads? Let us know here on Red Corner Boxing.
The rematch between Gervonta and Lamont Roach Jr., originally set for June 21st, 2025 at Las Vegas's T-Mobile Arena, was pushed back for multiple reasons. Chief among them was Davis's call for more training time, insisting he wasn't ready to step in the ring just yet. On top of that, Premier Boxing Champions, the promotional force behind the fight, was reportedly facing financial hurdles. These factors forced organizers to delay the event, moving the date to August 16th, 2025, while keeping the same Las Vegas venue. With their controversial first bout ending in a draw, fans are eagerly awaiting this explosive rematch.
Lamont is signed and ready to go for the rematch, correct?
Yeah, we signed, sealed, and delivered.
y'all play so many head games, it's not even funny. Let me tell you something, bro. Lamont Roach has never been this big of a fighter before. Everyone knows Lamont Roach now. So he could be reaping the benefits of just enjoying his status of having that draw with Tank, while Tank is the one with the eye of the tiger. Tank is probably in the gym training his ass off and then sign the contract like, all right, we got to fight win. June, oh shit, let's hurry up and dash your ass. Sugar Ray Leonard did that to Roberto Duran. Duran was told that he had a fight in a couple weeks and he was like, dude, I'm 190 pounds in Panama, which is why Roberto Duran was out of shape in the No Mas fight and was like, no mas. So Tank could be over there working, sign the contract in 3 weeks, and all of a sudden Lamont Roach got to put a training camp together.
How you think one coming up with
I
Tank
hope he
and
don't
Roach?
fight Lamont, actually. Like, I hope he don't get in the ring with him again. Because at the end of the day, if he lose, it's just going to look bad on the fight with me. So it's going to look like somebody else already did it. I
You want Tank to knock you out, yo? I ain't saying like, yo, want to fight Tank, and that's nice, but why do you want Tank to knock you out so bad? Like,
look, that sound good. That sound real good, but she's too little.
Too little.
I promise you he's too little.
When they first squared off on March 1st, 2025, at Brooklyn's Barclays Center, the result left the boxing world split. The judges delivered a majority draw. One gave Davis the edge at 1-15 and 1-13, while the other two called it even at 1-14 and 1-14. But it was the drama in round 9 that really stole headlines. Davis went down after a stiff jab from Roach, yet the referee ruled it a slip instead of a knockdown. That moment sparked heated debate across the boxing community and left fans with a taste of unfinished business, setting the stage for the must-see rematch to come.
For me, Tank Davis fighting a minus 1600 as your main event odds is crazy to me, dude. That's crazy. That underdog lived up to the hype. He ended up, overperforming. Lamont Roach, credit to him, all this other stuff. And it took some politics to keep Davis as champion. You ever see guys getting to referee their own fight? Dude, anybody else takes that knee, you're getting counted, bro. The referee, actually, his instinct, if you watch that, the referee's instinct was to count. If you notice, Steve Willis started counting, and then he looked at the timekeeper outside the ring, wasn't counting, and he stopped counting. So you get to call your own timeout. You know, earlier in the fight, if you saw that shoulder barge that Tank did to Roach in the clinch, he didn't get a warning, but Roach's reaction got the warning. This is the politics we're dealing with. You keep doing this, you're looking at short-term money and long-term destruction of a sport.
Davis blamed his lackluster showing on a mix of distractions, most notably hair products that irritated his eyes and the surprising absence of ring girls, which he claimed threw off his mental game. Even with these unusual excuses, Davis didn't dodge responsibility. He owned up to his performance, saying, "I could have definitely done more. That's my fault."
He take a knee. You need to lose like 10-8 that round at least, no? And plus the corner go up and put a towel in the face. That's a disqualification for sure. I'm talking about the rules, but you know, it's not my business.
Some critics believe Davis intentionally dropped to one knee in the 9th round against Roach as a clever way to mess with Roach's momentum and regain control. By choosing to go down, Davis may have bought himself a few precious seconds to recover, avoiding the risk of being overrun by Roach's fierce offense. To many fans and boxing insiders, it looked like a savvy veteran move meant to halt Roach in his tracks.
And to go ahead and keep it real with y'all, I think that knee that Tank took was because Lamont Roach was in a rhythm and Gervonta Davis tried to throw this man off a rhythm. Do I believe the Murray's sport waves, the soul glow was in his eye? Absolutely not. I believe that man Tank got nerve-eye and said, hold on, this man Lamont Roach is cooking. I need to take me a quick timeout and a quick break. It's nasty. It's horrible. It's disgusting. It's bad enough how hard and difficult it is to beat this man. Most fighters is weight drained. Most fighters has clauses on them. So when somebody who's coming up is able to compete with Gervonta Tank Davis, you handicap the man with trash rulings.
Davis later explained the controversial moment was caused by a hair treatment he had 2 days before the bout. He said the grease from the product mixed with his sweat, leading to a painful burning in his eyes mid-fight. Addressing the crowd's reaction in his post-fight interview, Davis voiced his frustration with the boos, insisting his move wasn't for drama, but a real response to sudden eye irritation, not a ploy to shift the tide of the fight.
Can you describe what the feeling was like in the ring? And was it to get the towel out, to get the burn out of your eyes, or what was going on? And
I didn't want to get caught. I didn't want to get caught while my eyes was burning, and you know, like you can get knocked out like that. So I'd rather take the knee than, you know. But I didn't really know that you can like get disqualified for all that, or like when you start counting, I'm like, what the hell? But I don't know. It's cool.
Davis's explanation has sparked a wave of mixed reactions from both fans and boxing analysts, with many questioning if that 9th round moment should have been ruled a knockdown. Regardless of why it happened, controversy around the Gervonta Davis versus Lamont Roach fight has only intensified. The New York State Athletic Commission, NYSAC, has now officially launched an investigation into the bout's outcome. According to Boxing Kingdom, technical delays held up an immediate review of the incident where Davis went to a knee. Many argue that if ruled correctly, it could have changed the entire result in Roach's favor.
Even without the knee, that should have been a knockdown. I thought I should have won a competitive fight. I think I did what I needed to do necessary to bank the rounds. I'm just a little frustrated with the scorecards. I thought I should have won.
In the wake of the disputed draw, Roach's team formally appealed to the Athletic Commission in hopes of overturning the fight's result. Their case focused squarely on the 9th round, where Davis took a knee after being tagged with a jab. Referee Steve Willis began a count but stopped at 3, allowing Davis to retreat to his corner, where his trainer wiped his eyes, something that breaks the rules of the sport. Davis later explained he went down due to stinging grease from his hair affecting his sight, but that didn't stop the appeal from gaining traction.
It ain't no timeouts in boxing. Why are you taking? You know that. You should know that. So that's the thing where I'm like confused, because that's supposed to be a knockdown. That's a 10-8 round. If that's a 10-8 round, I win the fight. So, you know what I'm saying? Like that draw turned into a 114 my way.
Gone in, okay, it's round 10, right? You see that you down on the scorecard.
George Kambosos Jr. didn't mince words when weighing in on Davis after the controversial draw with Lamont Roach Jr. Kambosos praised Roach's performance, calling out his sharp technique and grit throughout the match. He was especially impressed that Roach was able to push Davis to the limit, something few fighters have done. Reflecting on the chaos, Cambasos openly questioned whether Davis is truly capable of handling elite-level competition. The 9th round, knee, without a knockdown call, remains the fight's most debated moment, and many in the sport believe the judges got it wrong and Roach should have walked away with the win.
Make of that fight on the weekend, what'd you make of the controversy in that one?
Look, I had just finished my recovery sessions. I was pretty docile and relaxed, and then the fight, especially at the start of it, wasn't too thrilling and too action-packed, so I was starting to doze off a little bit, but I woke up a little bit more when obviously Lamont started giving him some work, and he looked good, man. I got to give respect to Lamont Roach. He proved a lot of guys wrong. I think he shocked Tank a lot with what he was able to bring, and again, we saw the controversy with the knee. To me, that's a knockdown. You can't just take a knee and decide to, go to your corner and get your face wiped. So, if that's a 10-8 round, Lamont wins the fight. So it's unfortunate, but that's the fight game. Hopefully they'll do it again and he gets paid, what he's worth.
Have you ever seen anything like that in boxing before? A guy sort of just voluntarily.
We've seen Floyd take a knee and be put on the count. We've seen Miguel Cotto.
Jake Paul has confirmed that if Gervonta Davis wins his rematch with Lamont Roach, they'll reignite talks for a potential exhibition clash. Despite the huge weight gap, Paul competing at cruiserweight, 195 lbs, and Davis at lightweight, 135 lbs, the bout would be a 10-round exhibition. Talks were nearly finalized before, but stalled after Davis's draw with Roach. If both men win their upcoming fights, the exhibition could happen later this year. Davis isn't leaving anything to chance for his rematch. He's joined forces with Kenny Ellis, a top-tier trainer known for strict discipline and razor-sharp focus. Ellis injects intensity and structure into every workout, pushing Davis to refine his technique and build serious stamina. He's leaving no room for past slip-ups. Ellis will be in Tank's corner on fight night, offering real-time strategy. With Ellis's hard-nosed training and Davis's hunger to dominate, fans could be witnessing the most dangerous version of Tank yet.
But me and Gervonta were scheduled to fight for sure.
How real or what was to it with you and Tank actually being the thing? Was that something that was talked about?
Yeah, no, it was highly talked about and in negotiations and almost ready to make happen, but he has to do his rematch with Lamont and get that W, and then we'll be able to run it back. But me and Gervonta were scheduled to fight for sure.
Reuniting with Coach Calvin Ford brings a whole different kind of spark to Gervonta Davis's camp. Their connection runs much deeper than just boxing. It's a bond built over years of loyalty, trust, and shared battles. Coach Calvin has been there from the beginning, helping shape Tank's raw power into world-class skill. Behind every major milestone in Davis's career, Coach Calvin has been the steady hand guiding him forward, crafting game plans and fueling his rise to the top of the fight game.
Who's doing the interview circuit, right? Kind of being a little bit out of character leading into the rematch. Do you think, and this is what Mill City asked, do you think that is something you guys are taking in consideration in preparation for the fight? And what Kenny Ellis said was, look, man, we're not falling for the banana in the tailpipe. We know what Lamont Roach brings to the table, and he says that Lamont Roach is we're not believing that he's out there drinking or blowing up a bunch of weight and all of that. He says what most people say, hey, we're going to prepare for the best version of Lamont Roach that is going to that'll come for us. But the way that he saw the fight coming out was he said he sees it like the fight before, a lot of really crisp shots landing. And the fight is going to be similar, but hey, the fight at the same time is going to be very different. Now, I just happen to have a very good friend named Phoenix the Assassin who breaks down fights for me. He's a trainer. Got a world-class eye for fights. And what he speculated should be the difference between the first fight and the second fight for Gervonta is that Gervonta is going to need to spend a lot more time fighting on the outside and scoring points for a longer period of time on the outside, and then making sure that, and basically forcing Lamont Roach to try to initiate something with slower hands, score his points, and get out. And he said the reason that he believes that Lamont Roach would be able to do that.
Veteran boxing voice Jim Lampley didn't hold back his doubts about Roach's chances in a rematch, even before their first showdown. Lampley broke down Davis's dangerous mix of slick boxing, southpaw angles, sharp footwork, and that unmistakable killer instinct. He raved about Davis's explosive power, comparing his knockouts to those of a young Mike Tyson.
All right, Sean Zattel here with the legendary Jim Lampley, PPV.com, and called a controversial draw tonight. The crowd inside Barclays, they did not like it. What did you think of the verdict, Jim? Was it the right call?
An upset draw is always a mixed bag for fans, for people in the sport, et cetera, et cetera. I thought it was, in essence, the right decision. The only question about whether the upset draw is justified is whether Steve Willis erred in not deducting a point in a late round when Tank Davis appeared to touch the canvas with his hand. And, you know, that is going to stay in the woodwork and haunt the fight in the breach a little bit. But at the end of the day, it's a setback in Tank's career and for his reputation. I think most observers expected him to knock Roach out, particularly because Roach was moving up from 130 to 135. Sometimes when a fighter moves up in weight, he gets stronger, and it looked as though maybe Roach did get stronger and had a greater ability to resist Tank's power than other opponents have had. His Tank did tag him with a lot of clean shots.
Roberto Diaz, advisor to Lamont Roach Jr., openly acknowledged how dangerous Davis is, calling him one of the best fighters in the world. Diaz respected Davis's power and track record, but he also voiced strong faith in Roach's abilities. He pointed to Roach's deep amateur background and the major strides he's made since their last fight. Diaz believes Roach's experience, combined with the familiarity of having already faced Davis, could be the key factors that swing the rematch in their favor.
James for the untouchable true school sports. Let's go, baby. Wow.
Be careful what you wish for because it can become a reality.
Yeah. All right, Brandon Taylor here, True School Sports. I'm with Roberto Diaz. Roberto, good to see you as always.
Likewise, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yes, for sure. You're part of Lamont Roach's camp. Well, what's your official role with Lamont Roach?
I'm an advisor for him.
Okay, so you guide him on how to make certain decisions?
Correct.
Okay.
We've been together for many years since his pro debut back in the days at Golden Boy, and after we both parted ways, we hooked up.
Okay, that's pretty cool. That's pretty interesting because, you know, now that you guys are not with Golden Boy, you're still together. So
absolutely,
you guys must have had a good relationship when you were at Golden Boy.
Always had a good relationship with him and his father, and obviously I'm honored and just, you know, honored to be a part of him. And when I got the call to continue working with him, it was a no-brainer for me.
Okay. A lot of the boxing media and the boxing fans are overlooking Lamont Roach, and they're angry that Tank isn't getting fights against Shakur Stevenson, Keyshawn Davis, these kind of guys. But what can you, from someone that's been with him from the beginning, what can you say about the talent level of Lamont Roach?
I don't blame the fans, but it's a little bit of the unknown for them. It's a little bit of they don't know who he is. On Saturday night, they're going to know who he is. They're going to respect him, and they're going to become fans. Mm-hmm. One thing about Lamont is he fought all the styles. The kid has the talent. The kid has the want, but he's never had the opportunity to be on this type of stage. Mm-hmm. Now it is. Now it's on him. He's put in the work. The talent's there. The hunger's there. He knows what a win means. And here's where it's important. The fans are okay not to know, because until they are introduced, like they know who Shakur is, they know who these other guys is. They'll know on Saturday. But most importantly, Tank knows what he's facing because he brought in two of the best trainers in boxing. Not one, but two, because he knows what he has in front of him.
Kenny Ellis, a key trainer in Davis's corner, stood by the decision to face Roach again, praising Roach's pedigree as a 7-time national champion and a fighter with serious credentials. Ellis admitted some fans don't fully appreciate the matchup, but warned that underestimating Roach would be a huge error. He stressed that both men have matured since their amateur clashes and said this rematch would highlight their evolution, showing how far each has come in skill and strategy.
Do you feel like that fight with Tank, the rematch with Roach, is bigger than perhaps Shakur Stevenson fight now?
Yeah, for sure.
Tell me why.
Yeah,
tell me.
He got in the ring. He got in the ring with Tank with no hesitation.
Okay.
For the hell of a fight. You know, everybody want to see it again, and Shakur's last 3 fights, they criticized him. You know. Mm-hmm. because of his style of fight. No offense to him, but this is the reality. People criticize because of the way he fight, you know? And they don't want to see that. They rather see Roach again, you know?